All right, I am back with a brand new DCU update, and I'm actually excited to talk about this one because guess what? I have talked to several lawyers, and I'm going to give you guys an update on what I was told. But first, we're going to talk about a few other things. The first thing has to do with basically the release of Shazam 2 and some comments that The Rock made at the Oscars the other day. And we're going to take a look at this clip. And then we're going to talk about what this means, and it's going to tie into what I'm going to talk about after that.
Henry Cavill, you brought him back, but now they're saying he's not playing Superman. What do you say to that? What's your reaction?
All that I could do and that we could do when we're making Black Adam was to put our best foot forward, surround ourselves with the best people, and then also deliver the best movie we could. Our audience score was in the 90s. Critics, took a couple of shots. That's just the business of it, though. But I think it's almost like when you have a pro football team and your quarterback wins championships, the head coach wins championships, and you have a new owner. And the new owner comes in, says, not my coach, not my quarterback. I'm going to go with somebody new.
All right, so there you have it. Black Adam, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson himself, tells us, and he was very careful with his words. And I want you to recognize how careful he was with his words. Because he said that, envision it as you're a star player on a team. You've got a good coach that's led you to a championship. But then new management comes in. They get rid of the head coach as well as their star players. And they move on and do their own thing. And that's exactly what DC is doing. In fact, I read a very lengthy story today on Comic Book Resource or something like that, where they had James Gunn, a lot of the writers talking about how excited they are about the dawn of the DCU and what James Gunn is doing. And all it is a bunch of people patting themselves on the back, thinking they're doing this amazing thing for the community and for the people who support them. When in reality, so far, the dawn of DC has been a complete dud. It's boring. Superman's a little interesting, but everything else is just a complete dud. And they're going to take all year to supposedly relaunch these titles. But we've got the wrong people writing the stories. That's a whole different video for another day. But it's unfortunate because at this stage, nothing is going to happen with the Snyderverse. And at this stage. Now, The Rock is very careful in what he's saying, and this is going to lead me into what I learned by talking to a couple of lawyers. I personally know a couple of people who are lawyers. I've talked to several individuals, and here's the lowdown on this. If I decide to go after them, first of all, I do have a case. This was one thing that I was told by several individuals. I definitely have a case, but there are some issues with this. The first being, this would drag out for a long time, and at the end, it would end up having to be, number one, a class action lawsuit. I, as one person, would not be able to go in. There's too much money behind the company, and they basically have money to protect themselves to begin with. And so this would have to be a class action lawsuit. If this goes forward, though, here's the problem with going forward with some sort of a lawsuit. It's going to air the dirty laundry of Warner Brothers in what would amount to destroying any chance in the future, any chance, whether right now we have a small chance or a big chance, it would completely destroy any chances of being able to revive any of these characters in the future or possibly seeing the people we want in these roles again. I am personally not willing to risk that. There's a reason why Zack Snyder is very cordial behind the scenes, why The Rock is being very cordial behind the scenes, why Henry Cavill made his comment and has been very cordial behind the scenes. They do not want to burn any bridges because the optics on everything right now is the fact that the Gunverse is probably not going to ever get off the ground. In my last video, and I'm just being a realist here, and this just really has nothing to do with Gunn, okay? I'm just talking in general what the optics are and what is happening. there is more debt for Warner Brothers Discovery. They're having a hard time digging themselves out. And this Superman film is going to be a make or break thing for Warner Brothers Discovery and whether this universe is going to go forward or not. Nobody is really going to be interested in Creature Commandos. That's not going to bring in enough viewers to get people excited for the new Superman Legacy film. Same with A Waller Show. Both of those are supposed to come out before the Superman Legacy film, but honestly, nobody's going to be interested until Superman Legacy comes out. You have the Batman 2, and you have the Joker, the second film. Those are Elseworld stories. Those will be coming out next year, but outside of that, they don't have anything related. So the next big theatrical film after we get through, and there will be a question whether Blue Beetle or Aquaman ever gets released, unless they cancel those two, based on the performance of Shazam 2 and whatever's going to happen with The Flash. But if those don't ever see the light of day, the only two films we're going to get superhero-wise are those two films. Well, and actually, the Joker will make it out next year, but the Batman won't make it out until 2025. So it's not a good position to be in. There's a reason why at that investor call, Zaslav made the comment he made, because they do have another plan if this doesn't pan out. And it looks like this isn't going to pan out. And that is not me just crapping on this. It's just the reality of the situation. Nothing is going well for Warner Brothers right now. They really are going to have to dig themselves out of a hole. There's a lot more to the company than just the movie division and the DC division, but that's what they're focusing on, and that's what gets the most airtime. And so I'm still going to be closely following this. In fact, Thursday I do have my ticket to go see Shazam, and I am going to stick to only seeing it once. I will not be supporting this company outside of going to see these films to do my review. I don't want them to do well. They already revealed that Gal Gadot is definitely in Shazam 2, which does, show them that shows us that they're very desperate. And I'm going to talk about why they're doing this and what the thinking is going to be behind the scenes. They claimed that Henry Cavill was not a draw for Black Adam, and that's why it got canceled. They know Shazam 2 is not going to do well, but they're going to say, look, we revealed that Gal Gadot was in it, and she's not a draw to bring people into the theater. And they're probably going to do the same thing with the Flash film, and they're going to say, hey, look, Ben Affleck was in it, but it wasn't a big enough draw to get as many people as we expected to the theater, so there's no reason to continue to use these characters anyway, so we made the best decision to move on. When in reality, that is not why people are going to see those films. There's a small group of us that are going to see these because we know this is going to be the last iteration we're going to see these, of these characters, at least for the time being. But like I said, the next big telltale is going to be the release of Superman Legacy, which is going to come out probably in late 2025. I don't remember exactly what the release date was, but something that's interesting is I went to finally go start watching the 4th season of Titans, and they only have 7 episodes. Like it should have been over by now. Come to find out, those other episodes have been delayed. Now, we know that the show was canceled. My fear moving forward is that they were still in production with those other episodes, and I'm fearing that Zaslav cut the budget, and what you're going to see with those final episodes in Season 4 is just a degradation in the quality of the show. I fully expect that's what's going to happen when it comes back. I don't think they will have spent the budget that they needed to finish out the show the way they should. That's just speculation on my part. I'm going to be, I've only watched 3 episodes, so I still have 4 more to watch, but I was looking forward to finishing it and getting up my season review, but I can't even do that because they haven't released the second half, and it's like, what the heck is going on? So there's a lot of, the optics on this aren't good. Shazam 2 is not scheduled to do very well, at least not here in the U.S. It's not going to make very much money over the weekend. I don't know anybody who's excited to go see it. Everybody has lost their interest. After them getting rid of Cavill, I know so many people who have just lost interest. They're like, I just don't care anymore. They just don't care about the DC brand. And I'm getting that way with the comics. Like, I'm just ready to just say I'm done with it. Like, I'll keep all the stuff I've collected over the last, 30 plus years and enjoy what I have. But as far as the newer stuff, like the only title I'm really enjoying is World's Finest. Outside of that, it's not good. But all these people are patting themselves on the back like everything is all hunky-dory and they're proud of themselves with the stories they're creating. But That's not the reality for the people consuming their products. All right, what do you guys think about this news? How do you feel about it? If you haven't already, please like the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you will be notified as I have new videos go up.